Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're talking perfumes. So, for those of you who love to watch perfume reviews, you can relax. If you have this particular perfume, you could wear it and then we could go through it together. Or if not, just envision it in your mind because that's what we do. So today we have Hermes, the hermessence range. I buy these little coffrets or these little packages where you could choose 4 of whichever fragrances they have from the hermessence line. This is how they come packaged. And for the occasion, let's close this up again. The one we're taking out of the box is Cuir d'Ange, which also means angel leather. All of them have like a little color at the bottom. So every different fragrance, let me give you Brin de Réglisse and Épice Marine. They kind of, if we move in close, you see they all have these like kind of varying colors, which then makes them, if you have all of them together, it makes them kind of, I don't know, cute, I guess. You could collect the colors as well. I'm not a big fan of all those colors. I just care for the fragrances. So let's get right to it. Cuir d'Ange is one of the newest from the hermessence range, launched in 2014. The nose behind it is Jean-Claude Elena. What can we say about the notes? First, let's spray it on. Out of the bottle already, I'm already on my third 15 ml bottle. Cuir d'Ange only comes as an eau de toilette. It comes in a 15 ml spray, 100, 200, up to 300 ml spray. And then the bigger sprays have like leather caps. You could even invest more money and buy leather pouches for them to spend all the money you want. But this is definitely worth it because it would cost as if you would be purchasing 100 ml. I mean, if it would add up to be the same price per milliliter as if you would purchase a 100 ml bottle. So let's spray it on. And as I said, 3 bottles in already of the 15 ml. Oh my God, this is gorgeous. I love it. This is my favorite of the hermessence range. Cuir d'Ange is my favorite one. And we have musk, narcissus, violet, hawthorn, heliotrope, and of course, the most important of all of them, leather. A lot of leather. A friend of mine who owns a Kelly and a Birkin bag smelled this once on me. I didn't know about this perfume. Strange, even though she knows about Hermes, but doesn't care much about fragrances, I guess. And she smelled it and she said, wow, it smells like the inside of a new Kelly or Birkin. To me, it's Hermes from the beginning to the end. I don't know if it smells like a Birkin or a Kelly because I never smelled the interior of a new Birkin or new Kelly. But I have leather goods from Hermes. And when they were new, they definitely had a very particular, slightly sweet smell. This one has it, but it's very dry at the same time because it has a lot of leather in it. And it's commercialized or marketed as a unisex fragrance for women and men, which is very good. I definitely, as genderless as I always say perfumes are, this one really transcends it even further because the leather in here it really smells sophisticatedly expensive and luxurious. Now, if I were to say that a perfume could smell like a Kelly or Birkin, as my friend kind of says that the interior of the Birkin and Kelly smells like this perfume. I would say if you want to buy the smell of a Kelly and the smell of a Birkin, get Cuir d'Ange. So get that leather, get that angel leather. And of course, the angels have made the Birkin and the Kelly, so I guess it makes all sense. But to me, what makes every hermessence perfume very recognizable is the fact that there's a slight ethereal, it could be spicy, it could be sweet note, but it's very like in the air, it's very light, it's very elevating. And that is something that, for example, Chanel perfumes don't have. Usually Chanel perfumes have something very earthy, something very that drags you down to the earth. Chanel perfumes usually have something dirty in them, as does Chanel jewelry. I mean, costume jewelry. Everything is a little bit more from the earth. Everything is a bit more, Byzantine, asymmetric, a bit more like hammered together, more chunky in a way. That's more like the Chanel type of sophistication, if you like. This one, or Hermès, is usually, their fragrances are more ethereal, they're more elevated, they're more detached. As I guess, or as I would presume, is the brand itself, and the whole mentality behind it is this kind of nonchalance and this effortless elegance that Hermès is so famous for when it comes to their accessories and also when it comes to their jewelry. And also when it comes to all of their horse riding equipment, which is to die for. That's actually my favorite part of Hermès. That's where my Hermès crop comes from as well. You haven't seen it yet, but I do have a crop covered with the orange Hermès leather, as well as the leather Kelly necklace, which is kind of fetishy if you look at it, but of course we use it for other purposes. Anyway, back to Cuir d'Ange. To me, it smells timeless. I mean, it's been invented prior probably too, but brought onto the market in 2014, and yet it could be a leather smell from the future, more so than from the past. It's not so from the past because it's very light for a leather scent. It's very, very ethereal. When I say light, however, I don't mean that it lasts in a very short time. It lasts a very long time, actually, considering that it's such a light fragrance. And it especially sticks to the clothes that you're wearing. So I have noticed that like 3 or 4 days after wearing a certain piece, I would smell the perfume on it still. On the skin, I would say you could get a good 7 to 8 hours out of it. However, if you were to shower, then the scent is gone. But the 7 to 8 hour mileage you get out of the perfume, you're definitely going to enjoy it very much, and you're going to have these amazingly fresh whiffs of leather. Now, as fresh as leather can get, you will get them. And I think the heliotrope, and also what we say is in here, the violet. Now, the violet to me is not as present as the violet is overly and predominantly present in Misia by Chanel. There, it's all violet candies. Violet candies with a touch of raspberry. Here, the violet, I think, is used to tame down the leather note and make the leather more violet-y in color, maybe. And if a smell could smell like a color, I think we're pretty close to the color violet here, except the leather tone also gives it, of course, automatically a browny, smoky touch. It's like a smoked violet, definitely, thanks to the leather. And it really makes me happy to smell this fragrance. It gives me that feeling that no matter what I do, I'm going to get through anything. I'm going to be happy no matter what comes, and only good things will come. So it gives you that sense of total and utter satisfaction. It can also be considered kind of sensual. No, definitely sensual, kind of sexual, but it's not a nasty type of sexuality. Again, it's a very, very clean, honest, direct, and open type of sexuality. It's definitely a smell of somebody who has no inhibitions, but doesn't also have any, complexes and complications and fears, but is open enough and honest enough to talk to their partner and say whatever they wish to say, you know, ask for whatever they feel like they should ask without being embarrassed. Now, of course, you can also always get a no for an answer or whatever, but not having that fear to openly speak about one's own needs and necessities is definitely a strength in my book. And that's what this one reminds me of. And it definitely makes you also feel pleasant. Never overpowering. None of the hermessence perfumes are overpowering or just cloying. None of them are. All of them have an extremely the highest pitch of sophistication and luxury that you could get, which is subdued, which is very elegant, which is very modest, never in your face, always extremely, extremely reserved. It's a very reserved elegance. Nicole Kidman could so pull this one off. I think like she kind of embodies that type of slightly cool sophistication. But at the same time, it smells very accessible to everybody. And that's the beauty of this little gadget. Because when you purchase this box of 4, you literally, I mean, you're not saving, you're spending money no matter what you do. If you buy something, you spend money. But it's way more affordable than buying the big bottles. Now, granted, these are very, very expensive. They're the most expensive of all the perfumes, of all of these huge privé collections and lines out there. Chanel is still one of the cheapest, believe it or not. So if you were to get a Chanel privé, a Chanel exclusive perfume for 200 milliliter eau de toilette, you would be paying in euro approximately at the moment 250 euro. With this one, you would be paying way more. Already 100 ml is like 200 something euro. So you could imagine how much 200 ml would be. It's a bit tricky, especially because, I hope I got my prices right, but I think I did. It's quite tricky because since these exist also in 300 ml, only when you reach the 300 ml range, then the price per milliliter drops, and then kind of the prices equal themselves out with other privé lines, like the Dior privé line, or comes closer to the Chanel exclusives line. But it's still very expensive for eau de toilettes. There are no eau de parfums. The privé line from Dior is like 99% eau de parfums. So Hermès is very, very expensive. Now, Hermès does split, however, their production. The hermessence range is said to be produced in-house directly by the Hermès laboratoires or whatever, or their perfumers. And the regular retail perfumes that are available, in duty-free shops, in perfumeries across the globe, those are said to be produced by, what was the brand they told me produces them? Like either Clarins or, no, Clinique or Clarins, one of the two produce, all of the other Hermès perfumes. But the hermessence perfumes that are only available in Hermès boutiques are produced in-house by the Hermès brand. And in fact, they do smell different. After I used to be a huge fan, before discovering the hermessence range, I was a huge fan of Voyage d'Hermès. It came out back in 2009-10. As soon as it came out, I got it immediately. That juniper smell is intoxicatingly amazing. And also I'm also a huge fan of Gentian Blanche from the Cologne range. But all of them, after I discovered the hermessence range, all of them had something chemical in them that the hermessence range doesn't have, that started annoying me, because once you've kind of elevated yourself to the hermessence range, and that's something I don't like very much about Hermès in general, it's that they're so elitaire that they eliticize themselves from themselves. which is kind of spooky if you think about it. What Chanel manages to create and Dior managed to create sublimely is the sophistication of their privé and exclusives line doesn't hinder or, chop off the legs of their regular releases. We still love our Chanel number 19. We still love our Cristal. We still love our Poisons. We still love, oh my God, I have total blank, Allure or Allure Sensuelle. We still love, all of those perfumes that are regular releases. And yet we also love the privés and exclusives. Now, after you dive into the hermessence range, you never really fully go back to their regular releases because it cheapens them out. And that's where Hermès is making a mistake. They should balance things out better. Granted, probably the ingredients used in these amazing hermessence perfumes are so high-end and so natural and so beautiful that they kind of make you smell out the chemical on the other side. But nevertheless, they end up also being more affordable because you can get them in these 15 milliliter things, which I say kudos to Hermès for that, because it really lets us, experiment and try all of them on and out. And 15 ml is a great size to carry around with you whenever you're traveling. This is fantastic. I only wish Chanel would do the same. And I only wish Dior or Yves Saint Laurent would do the same. I stand corrected, because Christian Dior, from their Privé line, a couple of their Privé fragrances are also available as 15 ml perfumes. They're really rare to find, though, and they're not so beautifully packaged and already ready to use. They're kind of made in very, very, very thin glass, because, and they have like a improvised stopper, and what they want you to do is, like, each one of them costs €30, and you would have to buy 4 of them, but they want you to purchase a little metal covered with leather container that costs, I don't know, around €200 on top of that, so that you could kind of put the little vials in. I'm not a big fan of all of these gadgets and accessories. I love when something stands on its own, just like this. This is really thick glass. They're very sturdy. I've had a couple of them fall on the floor a couple of times. They do not break, and they still function perfectly. And they're just ideal for traveling. I love that they're elongated and thin, so they could kind of fit in every container you might have, bag, pouch, whatever, pocket. The travel that I make mentally when I wear Cuir d'Ange is, and this is going to sound very cliche, but I do imagine myself being on one of these Hermès, flying horses. I feel that I'm definitely in the sky, in the middle of the clouds, with these gorgeous horses, and they have this golden hair, fur, whatever you want to call it. What does a horse have, fur or hair? And I have leather, skin. Well, they're still alive, so I guess it's not leather. Can you say leather to a living animal? You can't really. And it's very sunny. It's a beautiful, beautiful blue sky. I would say, it's a type of blue, the shade of blue that you get in the sky in February. And only the month of February delivers such a particular hue of blue, because the earth is kind of tilted in the right way according to the sun. So the ozone and everything kind of reflects, reflects or retracts light in a particular way. So the blue is just mesmerizing. Except it's not that cold when you're wearing this one. So it's that shade of blue, but you're somewhere now, like in May. It's an April, May type of thing. This scent could be used all year long. There's like no limitations to it, but it's warm in the sky on that horse, and you're just flying off, and you feel so light, and you're being taken to a faraway land where there is peace and a lot of harmony. Not too many words are said when you're there. There's a lot of telepathy. There's a lot of communication going just through gestures, observation, looking at people and understanding immediately what they want to tell you just by looking at them or just by being seen by them. They understand exactly what you need, what you want. There is a complete there's a complete balance of everything. Warm, cold, happy, sad, opulence, absence. You just feel like you're floating because the weight is gone, and at the same time, and this is something kind of complicated to explain, even though the weight is gone and you feel like you're just spirit, at the same time you're very material. if this makes any sense, because the perfume reminds you every time you smell it that everything that is happening is real. I know for a fact whenever I dream, you don't dream smells, you dream shapes, movement, people, mysteries. Usually they say you dream black and white, but the perfume is not out of a dream. It's real. It makes everything very material. Even though, isn't that funny? Because perfume in a bottle, the bottle is the material, but once you spray it, it just evaporates and it kind of poof, it's gone. And it just lives as a smell, but that smell is so concrete that it kind of becomes more material than material itself. And so the fact that we don't dream smells is extremely fascinating to me. We don't dream smells, and yet this particular smell makes me dream, or makes us dream. So not being able to dream smells, but smells being able to make us dream, is what Cuir d'Ange is all about. That's why we have angel in the name. And maybe that the fact that angel leather is the name of this perfume, and angel is in it, in the title, I kind of imagine me being in the sky. And it really does remind me of sky. And it does remind me of beautiful fluffy clouds painted by some amazing Renaissance painter. And this leather is angel leather. Now, it's a bit gross to think about, killing an angel and then kind of skinning them, and then, that's disgusting. But maybe in this dream world and setting, angel leather is not from dead angels, but maybe you just come close to an angel to kiss them and to hug them. And just the natural scent, the natural pheromone scent, if angels have pheromones, emanated from them, is just so intoxicatingly divine and sublime that you kind of feel like you're falling into a dreamy state. And that is definitely what Cuir d'Ange gives me. It gives me a complete 360-degree feel, emotion, and vibe of what an angel, while I'm on the horse. Maybe the horse is an angel too. It gives me that feel of what an angel smells like. Because at this point, after this liquid has been created, I have no shadow of a doubt in my soul that angels do exist. They do. And the proof is in the bottle. Leave me comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this perfume. If you have it, and if you haven't had it, what you think about our trip together today. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't forget, now that we know that angels do exist and they do protect us, so there is absolutely no shadow of a doubt whatsoever that we should never give up on love. Love ya. Bye.